All right, so I'm back with another video for my top clones that actually replaced the original. This time we have 5 clones here that are on the list. And just to kind of get started, I'm going to start here with Fragrance World's Cherry Incense. All right, so this is a 10 ml sample of this fragrance. And right now pretty much it's like all the way down here, and I mean I've only had this for, I don't know, maybe like 2 weeks or something like that, so I've definitely been wearing this one a lot. I really love the way that this sort of scent profile smells. This is still, it is a slightly boozy cherry, but it's nowhere near as boozy as what you get with something like Lost Cherry. This is definitely going to be a lot more on like the smoky side when it comes to how the cherry is done in this one. And it's not going to be as, you know, sweet or heavy on vanilla as what Lost Cherry is, which makes this one, in my opinion, a lot more sort of, you know, unisex to slightly, I guess you could say, masculine leaning. But pretty much this one comes so close to the original. In my opinion, it just doesn't make any sense to go out and buy the original, unless I guess you're just a collector of the original sort of Tom Ford private blend line fragrances. But I mean, this one was nearly identical to the original fragrance. I would say really the only difference kind of came like within like the immediate sort of opening of the two fragrances. You could say that the Tom Ford just smelled a couple of percent, you know, better than what this one did. But this one is right there with the Tom Ford, pretty much super smooth, you know, right when you spray it on, no alcohol blast. And again, this one definitely replaces the original for me. Again, this is going to be Fragrance World's Cherry Incense. All right, so the next one up is going to be from the house of Alexandria Fragrances, and this is going to be their take on Louis Vuitton Symphony, and this is Alexandria Fragrances Orchestra. All right, so Orchestra, at least for me anyway, this one was at least like 90+% close to Louis Vuitton Symphony. And I mean, honestly, I would say for the difference in price between what this costs and what the original from Louis Vuitton costs, I just don't really think that it's worth it to, you know, necessarily go out and get the original fragrance. Now, if you have, you know, over $560 to kind of spend on a fragrance, then I think obviously, you know, you're going to be someone who's just going to go out and buy the original. But I feel like for the general majority of, you know, most of us out here, most of us don't have $500 to spend on a fragrance. That's a lot of money. So, I mean, you can get 100 ml of this for, I want to say, you know, before discounts and shipping and everything, I think it's like around $109.99 or maybe $119.99. I'm not sure. And then probably with a discount or so, you can get it closer to like that $100 price. But that's still going to be way less than what you would pay for, you know, 100 ml of Louis Vuitton Symphony. And I mean, this one comes at least, I would say, about 90% close pretty much to the original Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is a little bit more, I guess you could say, sort of sparkly and bright in the opening than what this one is. But I mean, the differences, I would say, are very small and minimal. And it definitely doesn't justify the Louis Vuitton costing like 5 to 6 times more than what this one does. So definitely, man, if you are a fan of Louis Vuitton Symphony, I would say absolutely check this one out. And again, this is going to be Alexandria Fragrances Orchestra. All right, so the next one is also another sort of Louis Vuitton clone slash inspiration. This one is going to be from Paris Corner, and this is from their North Stag line. This is North Stag Quatre. All right, and this is, I won't call it a clone of, you know, Louis Vuitton's Afternoon Swim, because it's definitely not, I would say, close enough to really be like a direct clone. This definitely does its own sort of thing. So I would say this is more of sort of like an inspiration, but I genuinely prefer the way that this smells over the original Louis Vuitton. So this is pretty much, this is afternoon swim with, I would say, less emphasis on that sort of, musky sort of ambroxan, smell that you get from afternoon swim. And I would say a heavier emphasis on, the orange notes that you get from Louis Vuitton. So this is still going to be like a really nice, fresh summertime banger for sure. It does come off as being slightly sweeter, I would say, than what the original Louis Vuitton does. But again, the way that this fragrance is done, at least for me and my taste, I do prefer this one over the original Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim. And I've had Louis Vuitton Afternoon Swim, not a full bottle, but I've had like a 30 ml decant of that fragrance. So I've worn it. I've had other decants to sort of do testing with, and it is a very nice fragrance. But at least from my taste, again, I do prefer the way that this one smells over the original scent profile. So definitely check this one out, man. Again, this is going to be Paris Corner's North Stag Quatre. All right, so the next one is going to be from the house of Alwatania, and this is their take on Dior Homme Intense, and this is Kayaan Classic. All right, so Kayaan Classic is, I would say, very, very close to the original Dior Homme Intense. At least 90 to 95% close pretty much to that fragrance. And it actually, after, maturating, I would say for maybe a couple of weeks or so, it definitely is stronger than, what Dior Homme Intense is. So, I would say if you're looking for a really nice interpretation of Dior Homme Intense, super high quality, stronger than the original, and extremely accurate, then this is definitely going to be a fragrance that you're going to be looking for sure. The price on this is also pretty good as well. I believe I got this one from fragrancebuy.ca for, I don't know, it's like 40 something, I believe. So you can typically get it from there. You can get it from Banadair Fragrance, typically. Oudstore.com, I believe, normally has it as well. Right now, I believe most websites pretty much are kind of sold out of this one. This is a pretty popular fragrance, but when they are available, that's typically where you can actually find the fragrance. And again, this one is extremely close to the original for a fraction of the price, and actually has better performance than the original. So at least for me, that's why this one kind of replaces Dior Homme Intense, at least for me. Again, this is going to be Alwatania's Kayaan Classic. All right, and so then the last on the list, this is actually going to be a combination of 3 fragrances that are pretty much doing or, cloning the same thing. And that's going to be the YSL La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique scent profile. So I have here Grandor's iconic Nuit, as well as Fragrance World's Jack of Clubs, as well as Lattafa's Al Nashama Caprice. All right. So all of these fragrances are pretty much their Bleu Electrique clones. I would say really you can't go wrong really with either one of these. They do have some differences between each other, and between the actual original fragrance. But I think just depending on which one you get, it really doesn't matter. I would say you don't need to have 2 of these or all 3, that's for sure. I would say as long as you have one of these fragrances, that's really all you need. Right now I have the iconic Nuit. That was the first bottle that I could really get my hands on that was kind of readily available. But after smelling, Jack of Clubs as well as the Al Nashama Caprice, I would say, if you can get your hands on Jack of Clubs, but not the other 2 or Al Nashama Caprice, then you're fine either way. Jack of Clubs, I would say, is a little bit more on sort of like the lighter, more kind of aromatic side, when compared to the original Bleu Electrique. I would say the Al Nashama Caprice is a little bit more closer, I would say, to the original scent profile in terms of its density and its loudness pretty much. Except for, I would say the only thing with the Nashama Caprice is this one, to me, it comes off as being a little bit more spicier, especially in the dry down, than what the original YSL is. And then I would say with the iconic Nuit, this one I would say is sort of like a combination of all of them. So it's kind of like a combination of the Nashama Caprice, the Jack of Clubs, and the original, Blue Electrique. So there's aspects, I guess you could say, that you really kind of get from all of those fragrances, all sort of blended together in one fragrance pretty much with this one. So if you kind of want, I guess, the best of all worlds pretty much when it comes to that, sort of La Nuit, Blue Electrique scent profile, then I would say this one may be, your best bet. This one also really performs really good as well. I get, over 8 hours easily with this fragrance. The sprayer on it is okay. I haven't obviously experienced the sprayer with the other fragrances, but man, overall, I'm really, really pleased with the way that this smells for sure. It's just a really, really nice, I would say kind of blue sort of, take on La Nuit de l'Homme pretty much, which kind of makes this, acceptable to wear more so kind of in the daytime. But I also still wear this one at night as well, for sure. So at least for me, man, I would say the iconic Nuit, as well as the Jack of Clubs or the Nashama Caprice, they easily replace the original, especially with the original being a discontinued fragrance. All right. So definitely check out any one of these if you are into, La Nuit de l'Homme Blue Electrique. All right. So that is the list, man. Let me know what you all thought about this list. Definitely let me know if you have any of these fragrances. Do you have all of them? And out of the fragrances that you have, do they actually, in your opinion, do they replace the original fragrance for you as well? All right. So let me know in the comments. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And to anyone watching, leave a like and a comment on the video. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.